Thank you. Welcome. Okay, this is our third week, and hopefully by now everyone has done their two lists, the list of 10 script events and the list of resistance behaviors, and has gone over this material with somebody. Yeah, Kathy, come join us. And if not, why, it would be really good if you did that, and feel free to call me and talk with me about it, because that's really important. That's going to be a tool we use all the way through. And hopefully, as a result of last week's homework and class and reading, we are becoming aware of what it feels like to be in emotion, what the glitch feels like, or what emotion feels like, or how to recognize when we're in emotion, because a very important part of dealing with script, managing script at the human level, is to be able to recognize when we're in emotion. So hopefully everyone knows what I mean by the glitch and has some idea of what their glitch feels like. And that's what we needed to do. And let's see. The other part of the homework was to see if you can recognize when somebody else around you is in script. For those of you who've done this work before, especially for the beginners, just catching on to your own script and your own resistance behaviors and your own glitch and stuff like that is just fine. But other people, it's a good idea to start being aware of when other people are in script around you and catching that when it approaches you, so that you don't get sucked into your own script. And we also suggested that those of you who've done this work before, instead of who know what the glitch is and know what that feels like, start becoming aware of what the presence of God feels like to you. Feel like a silence descending upon you, or sometimes it feels like a pressure on you, or it may feel like chills on your back, or goosebumps, or a weight, or some people actually hear a voice once in a while. We need to become aware of what it feels like to be in conscious contact with God, because that's the place we want to learn how to get. So that's another thing that the people who've been around before can focus on, and the newcomers can begin to experiment with. And I recommend the nightly inventory. We brought it up, and I'm going to bring it up. That's the homework from now on, the nightly inventory, to go back, look over your day and see where you were in script or where you were in emotion. Because if you look back over your day quietly and see that you were very emotional then at a particular time, perhaps you can back up to the beginning of that and see what triggered it. Perhaps you can identify your glitch. Perhaps you can ask yourself, what was I afraid of, and identify your script. Perhaps you can even see how your resistance behavior led up to that. So it's really worthwhile on a nightly basis to sit down and go over your day and look at every emotional event and see if you can do a little bit of diagnosis on it and find out, essentially do the anatomy of it, do a autopsy on your emotion and see what caused it and what you were afraid of and what it felt like at the start and all that sort of stuff. So, if you master this much, your whole, for the new people especially, if you master this much, your whole life is going to change. And we got lots more, but if you master this much, your whole life's going to change. You're no longer going to go down the creek without a paddle, or get sucked into it, or mess up your relationships or your jobs or everything else by going emotional and stuff like that. So this will make a big difference, especially after the next 2 weeks. So let's share for the first hour, as usual, and I'm going to continue to go down the list unless anybody really wants to share. If there's anybody that has a question about anything I just said, please jump in right now. Otherwise, I'm just going to go down the list again. Yes, please.
I have a question.
Please.
And you might be getting to this later. But when I felt my glitch, I then stayed silent and did not respond because I felt like that was probably most appropriate. But then later on in the conversation, my tone definitely came out, and he questioned, why are you so, snappy? And that's when I then said, well, this is what happened. You said this. I felt this. So I'm wondering if, what do you do when you feel the glitch? Are you supposed to say, I really didn't like what you just said. That really made me feel bad.
That's taking care of yourself, and that's a different issue. At times it's appropriate to do that. If you need to take care of yourself with whoever's doing that, then it's appropriate to do that. We say that in the relationship workshop, it's always important that you communicate with your partner. But the real answer to that question is, if you're having a script event, it's your script, and we'll be talking about that today. Today's topic is 100% responsibility. It's your script and it's your work. And if you didn't have had the reaction, and you don't need him to behave different in order for you to be free. And that's where we want to go to. But right now, if you need to take care of yourself, that's okay. Any other questions? Good question. Dulcie?
Yes.
Hi.
I'm calling from the Bergamo retreat.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Needs to mute their line.
Yeah, someone on the line needs to mute. I just want to report just really quick. I talked to Lee about it, but I've been doing the work for years, and I just want to say that last week that my number one bottom script that was the most difficult got tore up, but after a couple of hours after the class, I sat in what I realized was the most evil I had ever experienced within my being of this gnarly black entanglement, and Barbara used to call it the octopus, and there was nowhere to go but to God and to spirit and to silence with it. And I just want to say that it was absolutely surgically removed, shall we say, in the ozone. It felt like a spiritual surgery. So hang in there, and I just want to say that it does break, and wow, what a difference. Thank you.
Thank you. That's the answer eventually. If we can move directly to experiencing the presence of God, then we experience healings. And I guess that's a fair thing to say. That's what happened to you. Dulcie's a pro at going to God and experiencing the presence of God, and she was lifted clean out of something that's been lurking for a long time in 2 hours. So that's, the ultimate way that this goes, and for that reason we are going to really focus on being aware of the presence of God, and we'll work on the awareness exercise this week or next week soon to facilitate that. Thanks, Dulce.
Yep.
All right, let's continue down the list. And remember that this is being recorded, but we will control the people that can hear it. Primarily, it'll just be the people in this class, or perhaps other students at some point. And feel free to pass. And the next person on the list is Eileen. Are you with us, Eileen? Don't forget to *6 before you talk.
She is working.
Oh, okay. All right. Then let's move on to Aaron. Are you with us, Aaron? We're not hearing you. You need to *6 if you're with us.
Can you hear me now?
There you are. Hi. Yes.
Hey. The line is a little crunchy. I'm having trouble hearing you. Can you hear me?
Just fine, yes.
Okay. Well, let's see. Well, just go ahead and talk. Tell me if you can't hear me. Now, I don't know if anybody else who's on the line can hear this, but there's like a scraping sound. It sounds like it's coming from the room, but it could be coming from a phone.
Okay, we're not hearing it here. You're
Okay.
clear here.
Okay, good. Well, one of the scripts that I've taken the class a couple times, and this script has really become clear to me this past couple weeks that I overlooked before, and I think it's a very deep one. The script is I will never be understood. Nothing moves me to a crazy town like I will never be understood and be perceived as being crazy or not believed or whatever I'm trying to express. Of course, the underlying message there is that I'm not enough, and I'm never enough. And some of the resistance behaviors that I use are I dismiss my own intuition. I just chop it off, or I beat myself up in my brain. I become a chameleon. That's falling away. That's fallen away over the years, but I still notice that all of a sudden turns pink or blue or green sometimes. And my glitch is high up in my heart. It's high. It's not low under my breast. I want to say it maybe just a couple inches higher. But if it's a really good glitch, you can start in the chest and go all the way down into the my coccyx, all the way down to the base of my spine. Let's see. An example I had recently was I was talking to someone, and maybe I should stop and mention something else.
Speak directly into the microphone on your phone, honey. Sometimes you're a little muffled.
Okay, is this better?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it was better, but now you're gone completely.
Okay, well, I think that I have been given a gift, and I haven't seen it as a gift until recently. I'm very empathic. I should say I'm very sensitive to walking into a room and picking up on people's energies or picking up on a place's energy, which has made me really sensitive to other people's scripts. And just the past couple weeks, I've been looking at that and becoming aware of how much I used to think it was my script that was going on, when really I didn't know how to stand in the present and get really, really calm when somebody else's script was manifesting or just vomiting all over the room. And recently I had an experience where I was talking with someone, and they were in a place where I could tell they were in a split. They were in split, and it was a very, I want to say, what were they saying? Essentially, they were saying, were saying to me what I was. They were saying what I was thinking, what I was, my intuition, what I was acknowledging was completely wrong. And they sounded very angry. It felt like there was like a nuclear explosion going inside their body. Like I could feel all of this. And this person is just kind of melting down in front of me. And I didn't go into scripts, but I can tell you I wasn't really peaceful. I was kind of watching it and just kind of recognizing what was going on. And I'm kind of in this middle place when other people's scripts start up, where you don't seem to immediately be able to become aware and sit in the present, know the truth. I'm kind of on that human plane, and I'm watching it happen, and my body gets tight. But a lot of times now the scripts don't happen. It doesn't engage my script, and I just have to deal with the discomfort of someone else's script, which I've learned now I can walk away from. This is a novel. It's a novel.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. I hope you could hear some of that.
Got most of it, yeah. Jay.
Thanks. Yeah, I just wanted to second about, for those of you who are new with this, how practical this stuff is. And when he talks about just the stuff that we've done in the past couple of weeks, revolutionizing your life, it has mine over and over again. And every time that we've gone through this, it's remarkable how much freedom there is on the other side. My glitch is very much like Aaron's. It actually starts up here in my shoulder, and it'll tighten up, and then as I identify it, it's amazing to watch it come down, and it passes out down through my side and leaves as I become, aware and the like. So that's been one of the things that's been wonderful. As far as being in the moment and being able to experience the presence of God, there are like 3 different ways that this happens for me. The most common is in sight. In other words, that I will be able to take a look at like the flower or this, and there'll be an extra beat where I see it in some way that is different than when I just tend to glance at things and the like. And I become aware, and in that awareness, that's where I find the presence of God. The other place is that when we're meditating, I'll sigh the first time when we kind of sit, but there's about 10 minutes in, I'm sure Pauline is familiar with it now because we meditate together frequently. There'll be the secondary sigh that comes through me that really is an unwinding. So those are two of the ways. As far as scripts go, the ones that keep recurring are that I will never be enough, I will never be able to do enough, and I'll never be valued. And I was very fortunate to be able to go through the lists last week, do the homework about the things that have happened since we last went through this. And for me, there were things like I had a heart attack, which I felt was obviously proved that I was not enough spiritually. I had an experience of a couple of years, probably 2.5 years, of being in different selling situations where it was very clear that this was not working, and yet I continued to do it, change from one job to another and the like, and it was something that I just am not able to do anymore, and yet I've always had that salesman tag upon myself. And the other was because I feel responsible for my grandmother not planning for her to live to be 105. Because I'd never met anybody that old. And she's already 100, and she's coming on 103. So anyway, there's that stuff. Just as an example, though, about how this script event with me, one of my favorite things to do with my wife is we take walks together. And it's really one of the high points of my day most of the time, but there's a recurring dance that I go through with her that's really quite funny. Here's the example. Dell and I love to take a blah, blah, blah. She says, let's take a walk, or when do you want to walk? I become agitated because I think there's not enough time for me to walk and work on my book or another project that I'm in. The stories that I tell myself, if I'm going to enjoy this day with Adele, I must walk now and not work on my projects. If I want to have sex with Adele, I have to walk now. If she knew what I had to do, she would not ask me to walk. That's my fantasy. I want her to be a mind reader. I'll never choose my projects first. I'll always have to put off what it is that I want to do. I'll never be valued. Those are the little things that run through me. Occasionally. The resistance behavior is I'm not straightforward about what it is that I feel I need to do. She doesn't care. She's just trying to be nice and really romantic to me to say, let's take a walk. And yet I sometimes refract it through all this different stuff. She's extending a loving invitation, and I go into emotion, which leads to us separating. Then I have about an hour of agitation, which I can't apply myself to anything anyway during that time. And then the other resistance behavior is that during the course of the day, I'll spend 2 hours on the computer when I could be doing this. And what am I doing? I'm looking at sports. I'm playing with other stuff. I'm playing solitaire. I'm looking at naked women when I could easily be, looking at my stuff, working on my project. So I mean, that's the way that this plays out with me.
Thank you. Judy, are you on the phone? Don't forget *6.
Not here.
Okay, Jill?
Hi.
Hi.
There's just so many different scripts I'm discovering. It's just a lot to take in this first week.
It is. It can be overwhelming up front.
But it's overwhelming in a good way. Like, I needed to hear this language, and it really speaks to me.
Good.
And I'm really feel a lot of gratitude for it. I've identified my glitch on a number of different scales. Like, it'll be more intense sometimes, and then a lot, less noticeable at other times. And those are the times it's harder for me to pinpoint it. And also, I do smoke, which I was reading is kind of inhibits your ability to pick up on the glitch. Mm-hmm. So I've been, whenever I have the urge to smoke, when I get stressed out or emotional about something, I'm like, oh, okay, so that's script right there.
That's your glitch. Yeah, that's great.
It's so subtle, too.
Yeah, that's your glitch.
So
let me just stop there. Did everybody hear that? Did you find that in the book? If you smoke, smoking nicotine represses the glitch. That's why people get addicted to smoking, is because it represses the glitch and it feels like you're putting down anxiety. So if you're doing that, then when you need a cigarette, that's your glitch. Yeah, perfect. Thank you for bringing that up so we can emphasize it.
that's all I have left is smoking,
No, that's fine. We're not knocking it. Just use that as your glitch. That's your sign. That works. It's very clear.
Yeah.
Am I going to be okay when I try and quit smoking at my 1 year?
Absolutely.
It will be easier as a result of this work than it would have been if you hadn't.
Sure.
A lot easier. A lot easier.
Oh, that's great to hear.
Because you'll see that you're smoking at people.
Yeah. Totally.
Often we find that especially smoking and people that have food addictions, that it's easier to get abstinent and stop smoking after you've done this work once or twice than it is, we let people that, we let people go on smoking, and we let people that have food addiction come, because often they have to do the work once or twice before they can get abstinent, because because the energy, eating is like smoking. It's putting out the glitch. Same thing. Huh?
I do that too.
Okay, same thing, exactly, right? It's putting out the glitch.
So, doing this work, we do it, it's like the 12 steps, you just keep doing it over and over again, like once you finish going through like the literature and the work, you just do it, start over again?
We're going to give you, you're going to wind up with 4 or 5 steps that you take each emotion through,
Oh, okay,
period.
okay.
In item by item. When the emotion comes up, when you want a cigarette, you'll know what it is at the end of 5 weeks. But when you want a cigarette, you look and see what it is I'm afraid of, what's causing the anxiety that makes me want to put this down, and do a few things from there. So yeah.
I can do that. Okay. I like the part, I like trying to notice when other people are incorrect.
Yeah.
Because that helps me not feel so weird around them.
Yep. That's good. Mm-hmm.
It's easier for me to realize that kind of, because it's like right in front of my face. I'm like, oh, what's wrong? What's going on here? Why are they emotional or dramatic? Particularly my close friends and roommates, but and to also take different action instead of like being short with them or trying to avoid them, be more compassionate towards the blind person, what I'm doing right now.
Yep. Yep.
So, and I'm working on, I meditate daily. I'm working on my conscious contact with God, and I'm really looking forward to, hiking that and getting more present.
Cool. I'm really glad you found us. Yeah. And we found you. Thank you. Welcome aboard. Kathy C. C is for crap?
Oh, it was a script when I walked in. I was on the tail end of it, and my voice in my head, whatever you call it. I know I'm trying not to call it kid anymore, but whatever it is, that I've just been plagued with self-loathing on and off for a number of years. Almost my life, number of years. Probably never lifetime. And really loud. Now, we told that story last week, and I was feeling...
Come closer to the mic. We can't hear Kathy.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yes, I have stomach right now. But I think I have different glitches for different scripts. I really do. I first came into this work, and my main script was, I'll never be loved, nobody loves me. And it was funny, and I'm not important enough. And it was all kind of tied together. And they all kind of mixed together, so I had a hard time really, understanding how they were affecting my life. But I always noticed that, for me, a real bottom line, if you want to call it, script was my mind just would race. It was like I'd have an out-of-body experience. I'd be talking to somebody, but my mind was going, like just spinning and thinking about whatever it is that's being said versus, and not present, just, out of it. It was mostly in my, mind racing thoughts. And Dulce and I were talking this week, and I wanted to get to the bottom of the last couple of years of every single decision I've ever made in my life. I've been replaying it and hating myself for the decision I made. And it wasn't so much I'll always make mistakes, I'll just always make the wrong decision. And I would have a dream, and I wake up and remember something that I did in like college that I hadn't even thought of for the longest time, and going, why the F did you do that? And it was this horrible, plaguing. And then it was funny because Dulcie had said, when did that first happen? And I couldn't put my finger on it. And then all of a sudden, I think in the middle of talking to somebody, it just hit me. And at least in this lifetime session, whatever you want to call it, I was sexually molested by my older brother for years, and at some point, you know, there was this realization that this was not right. Like, I was really young, and he would take me off, and I was not loved, and I was kind of the annoying little sister with a whole bunch of brothers. I have 7 brothers, and wanted to play with them. I just, you know, I was just always kind of this kid that they didn't want around, whatever. And so my oldest brother all of a sudden wanted to spend time with me, and sure enough, he was starting to molest me, and I had no clue what was going on, didn't think anything of it. And then at some point, my sister found out, my other brother found out, and they were telling us how bad it was, but my brother didn't stop. And there was a point where I went along willingly. And I realized it since then that I've hated myself. And for the most part, I blame myself, which it seems, from what I understand, often happens with kids who are molested. They blame themselves. Because I went through a phase of most of my life just hating myself, thinking I was going to be possessed by the devil, just constant place because I thought I was bad. And what got tacked onto it this week, too, was that at the time, and I wanted him to leave me alone, he wouldn't leave me alone. He just kept kind of, what's the word I'm looking for, stalking me. You know, we'd be in different places, and he'd want me to go, and I'd be like, no, no, no. And I remember feeling at some point I was alone. Like, I couldn't tell my parents because I was the one, it was my fault. And my sister kept saying, don't go with him. And it was like, if this is going to end, I've got to take care of it myself. You know, I think that might be the resistance behavior to this. I'm still a little foggy on it. And I remember at one point, because he came in the middle of the night, and he woke me up in the middle of trying to do something to me. And it was this realization, like, at whatever, 6 years old, and I'm like, if I'm going to get out of this, I got to take care of it myself. And that might be the resistance behavior with it. But and I remember going and talking to him, or in the middle of the night, like, he went out in the living room, and I walked in, and I said to him, I said, you come near me again, I will take a knife and I will cut your throat. This little kid, you know. And I went back to bed and he never bothered me again. So I've kind of had that thing of I don't trust my judgment, so I either make bad decisions or I don't make them at all. So that's the resistance there. But then there's that feeling of I've got to do it myself. If I want something done, I got to take care of it myself. And so both of those kind of came up this week, so it gave me just anxiety and stomach aches and misery, and my poor husband, who I hate right now. Oh, that's being taped. Sorry. Sorry, if you ever hear it. I have a political office, I didn't say that. No, I'm kidding. Never do that. But anyway, because it happened right before I left. You know, my son is crying and crying and crying, and I'm like, can you just take care of the kids this one time? And I had to go in and put him down. And it was just, and that's why I came in just like this, I gotta take care of myself. I was like this when I walked in. Clearly I'm still coming down, because it's up. Like right now I'm like, And of course I keep beating myself up for marrying him anyway. Because I couldn't marry him for the longest time. I would make the decision, then I was like, just do it. You can always get divorced. Not really. I mean, after a while I just gave up that thinking, because I was plagued with indecisiveness, because I don't trust my judgment at all. And so finally I did, and we actually, you know, things were good. Last couple of years, not so much. Anyway.
I'm glad you're here.
At the moment. So I'm in a lot of pain, and this
Yeah, I hear it.
sucks ass again.
Well, I'm glad you're here and start addressing some of that
I've got
today.
a nasty stomachache right now.
Well, maybe we'll get some of that addressed even today.
Yeah.
Let's keep moving. Kathy McKee.
Hi.
Hi, Kathy.
Well, I love this week of homework. I did it every day and did what's one of my resistance behaviors is to be a really good student, so.
Good.
I'll start with the good stuff was feeling the presence of God. That was a new homework that I hadn't done, and that was fun. And I loved Jay's description of it, because I was sitting here thinking about it. I've been feeling it a lot. And Jay kind of nailed it on the head the way he described it. For me, one thing I do is I feel warm, and I think it's because I'm one of those people. You said it's funny because you said being cold, and like I hate being cold. I love being warm, and I just get this warm feeling, and warm and cuddles, sort of ambient feeling. But the other thing that I really noticed is my vision becomes more acute. And it's just sometimes momentary for a minute or so, but all of a sudden I see everything, and it's just amazing how much I see and how
sharp and clear everything is.
Yeah,
And so I feel like I'm in the consciousness, in the present.
you're being present.
Yeah, I'm just being present.
Yes,
I mean, I like
uh-huh,
drive by that
that's
same bush every day, but then all of a sudden it's like, wow, it's that bush.
Yeah.
So, being
That's
aware
it.
of it has been really cool this week for me. And, I really only I asked you a question on day one about, levels of emotion, and I'm glad I asked you that question, because I was always under the impression when I take this class before, that for me to be in script, I had to feel like I was really gonna die. And I don't feel that much anymore. But I do get script events, so they're just not as big as those necessarily. So I had two in particular that came after my regular scripts, and one is been trying to do a refinance on my house and it's taken literally 9 months. It's just, I don't know why it's taking so long. When I think about it, I get and my glitch, my thing is I feel like I'm gonna throw up. I just feel like, and I think about this pretty regularly because I want to save some money on the weekend. There's this great deals out there and I just don't think smart enough to get them.
So just 1 second.
Yeah.
When you're feeling that, the question is, and this is an example for all of you, when you're feeling that, the question is, what am I afraid is going to happen to me? What's going to happen? What's going to happen if the refi doesn't go through? How's it going to kill me?
Well, it's going to, for me, kill me, like if I'm supposedly going to save $800 a month on this refi, so for me, the next step is I'm going to have to sell my house.
Okay.
And then I'm going to be, not homeless, but I'm going to have to sell the house, which is, I've lived there 12 years, and I have 2 kids, and it's just so big, and I just get to the point of almost feeling homeless, although I don't. But the script that's activated for me are 2 big things, but one, I have a huge script of bad decisions, of making decisions, and so I feel like I shouldn't have gone with this one particular guy who keeps telling me he's going to help me, and it seems like I'm taking some, but I have a very big, stupid script, but I'm not smart enough. And so for whatever reason, what I feel every time I think about this or deal with it is, and it doesn't really make sense necessarily, but that I'm too stupid to make this happen. And when I always try to call him and try to be smart about it. Now, where's the holdup, and where went to underwriting, and why isn't, and I'm trying to get the, and I always hang up the phone like, I'm so dumb, I can't figure this out. When in reality, I know I'm really not a dumb person, but I feel that script is very activated. So that's been happening. I just kind of was aware of it. And then another one happened where I have an employee that's been working for me, and it was very interesting when I talked to Sherry, who usually sits here. She helped me. I didn't even know I had a betrayal script. And because I have other scripts, but I've had several employees over the years leave and start their own businesses, and that's part of business, but it really feels like betrayal to me. And I have one girl who just left recently because she was having a baby. But the script that was activated is she texted everybody these little pictures of her baby, and everybody in the office is getting these pictures of, oh, Sarah had her baby, it looks so cute, and I didn't get a text. And it's so stupid, right, these little things, but I felt like the script, like, I don't matter. And I was trying to really pinpoint what it is, but I think that's it, that I won't be honored. My other big script is I'll be ignored, or I won't be ignored. And so I felt, and you had mentioned that, not being accepted. So I think all those things were affected with that. And so I was just aware of it, and then I can now, luckily I'm not in emotion so long about it, but it's still there. There's no question.
Yeah.
So, I'm glad I'm doing the work, and I'm glad I see it, and like I said, it doesn't feel as big anymore since I've done this a couple times. So it definitely helps, and then doing the work at night helps me, like when we do, other step work, just the recognition is good, but I'm looking forward to, and I'm just trying to be in more consciousness. I've been listening to the tapes, I'm reading Sermon on the Mount, I'm meditating a lot, so I'm just hoping my God consciousness will eventually help me, not that the scripts will go away, but manage them better.
Now, go away.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Is the goal.
Yeah.
The hopefully the breakthrough that we're trying to achieve here is that we have been focusing on script and kid and steps and all that sort of stuff and improving our humanhood. And that is what's happened for you. It's a lot less painful. But we have not been experiencing the healings of these fears, the realization of the truth about these fears, and that's what we're doing now. That's why we're focusing as much on getting in touch with God and as much on learning the truth to confront the lie with and things like that. Hopefully, we're trying to work at a whole different level because we want to do a lot more than improving humanhood.
Right.
So we'll see if that happens.
And I was trying to figure out, because I know the other work we have to do is try to stop doing the resistance behavior, right? Because that perpetuates the script.
Well, it does, of course.
Yeah. So that's hard, a little harder for me to see, like on these two instances, what exactly is my resistance behavior. I know people pleasing is one, and then to the stupid script, you know, is all the other things I do to try to be a good student, be a perfectionist. But in those instances, I don't know, I wasn't sure exactly if there was an individual resistance behavior I was doing, because I do want them to go away.
Yes, we all do. Let me just say something about that. Trying to stop my resistance behavior will sustain my script. More clarity about that. What we're going to do is understand the mechanism of script clearly and how resistance behaviors sustain it and how resistance behaviors trigger it without any attempt to do anything about them, but just to see it clearly, okay? And when it's seen clearly, it will stop. But we're going to let our resistance behaviors stop all by themselves. We're going to just let that dissolve, erode. Let's don't say dissolve because that sounds very thick. It may be erode, but it will go away as a result. And the new format for this work, and I don't know where this thing's going either, by the way. I know where the first 5 or 6 weeks are going, and I know what we've been doing wrong, and I know we're sort of where we're going, but we'll see what it looks like. But the new format is see clearly what this mechanism is, and see clearly the truth, and get God in our life, and let it sort itself out. And we're talking about sort itself out in the sense of spiritual healings, rather than sort itself out in the sense of cleaning it up, you know, ourselves.
Yeah.
That's the plan. And I don't know how far we're going to get, but we're going to get a lot further towards it than we ever have before. That much I know. Otherwise, it wouldn't be happening. So cool. Thank you.
Can I interject a sec?
Please do.
Yes. Joel said that the nature of error, or as we know, evil to be our script, the only evil or error we'll ever know is our script. But he said when error is seen, 2/3 is dissolved, and the other third dissolves itself.
Yep. But seeing clearly, the problem is that becoming intellectually aware of it isn't sufficient. That doesn't cut it. Seeing it to the bottoms of your toes, seeing it. In other words, realizing the nature of script and resistance behaviors and fantasy behaviors when we get to them, realizing that, having that become real for it. Oh my God, that's what's going on. Then it's 2/3 gone, and the rest will go with God in your life. So that's what we're working at.
Okay.
And we're going to focus on, that's why we're focusing on never missing the glitch, looking back at all our emotion. We're trying to see it clearly, and the whole dynamic of it. We want to see it clearly. Kay, are you with us? Kay, *6.
Hi, I'm here.
Hi, Kay.
Oh, hi. Well, I'm sure I'm in script right now because I'm hot flashing and breathing heavy, and oh my God, it's my turn. And the script that
is a hot flash a glitch? I don't think so. That's a new one.
Well, it seems to come up at certain times.
All right, I'll take your word for it.
I think you have to be in menopause to have that kind of glitch, but in any case, it's happening right now. But the script that came up for me while I was working with Lee is I'll never get it right, and that's like, well, so why bother? And my comparing myself to other people, you know, you guys in there, I don't even see you because I'm out here. You all have it down. You're all spiritual. Your meditation's great, la, la, la. And I don't, and I'll never get it right, so why bother? And that's what goes on for me. So that's what I guess that's resistance behavior too. And the script that I've mostly been dealing with, you'll always be ignored and treated with indifference. Although I don't have consciously have a lot of reactions, I realize that I engage in tremendous amount of resistance behavior. So I'm kind of like trying to control it, I guess. So that was a good revelation. What else? And then I've just caught up on the first. Are you all there? Are you there?
We are.
It's so quiet. Anyway, I just made up the last two classes. I just finished listening to the second class today, and I realized in less than an hour I had 3 script events. I mean, because they were 3 glitches, and that I guess I have been unconscious and not aware of those. So I went, oh, yippee skippy, if I've had 3 in less than an hour, I wonder how many I'm having all day long, and it'll be an exciting adventure to become aware of them.
I'm so glad you're with us. Those of us who know you love you dearly, and the others are learning too.
Thanks.
Keith.
Okay, Keith.
Okay.
Well, I'll just blast out my scripts first. Can't trust anyone is one of them. I don't matter is huge for me. And another biggie is once you get to know me, you will be.
Yeah.
And never get it right, which seems to kind of run. So, in real time, I have it going on in real time right now. My stomach's in knots because I'm sure after I'm done talking to you guys, one by one, going to be walking out the door here. Once you get to know me, once I put it out there, nobody's going to want to hear it, and it's just like it feels like it's real.
Mm-hmm.
And a little bit of joke. You're supposed to laugh, but you didn't. That's okay. But that it kind of feels closer to that's what's going to happen once I open up to you guys. I don't feel comfortable in meetings. I'm also in the program. I don't feel comfortable sharing. I've got a lot of years of sobriety, and I've learned this many things in all these years, and sometimes I only know about this much. And so when I raise my hand, I don't want to sound bad, so I don't raise my hand to share, because life kicks my ass on a daily basis. I live, I'm married, 2 children, 15 and 13-year-old boys, and my older son has some pretty major problems, and right before he came here, another one. We don't know if he's got bipolar or something, but it's, as I progress in this work, I live in a situation where he's explosive. His anger and things are happening, and it's really hard to navigate. I might be having a good day, but then he and my wife are going at it, or who knows what's going to happen. So I live in this environment, and it's very difficult. There were a couple things. I feel the glitch in my stomach. It starts to vibrate and kind of nauseous. I feel this nausea. Another glitch for me is I'll get this thought, and all of a sudden I just go to overthinking. I'm a real thinker. I pick my fingers, and then I start to get, when the information comes in, whatever the glitch is, I have this energy, and I just start. I used to bite my nails as a kid. I just pick at them now. Not all the time, but I still do. Experiencing God to me feels like tingles. I know when I'm feeling it because as I'm saying something, I all of a sudden my hair kind of stands up and I get this fuzzy feeling. It's really quite nice.
Yes. It is.
It's a feeling of knowing that I know and I don't have to say anything.
Yes.
You just know the truth. That's it's hard to put words on that one, but you know when you know. And this one just jumped out at me too while I was getting ready to share. One of my resistance behaviors, because it's going to make you like me more, is to tell you that I'm a musician. As soon as I say that, everybody's going to like me. Oh, you play music? Yeah, well, you know, and all this stuff. But in my experience in God, when I do go to my music, and I preface that because it's part of experiencing God, it's like guitar, and I'm able to literally tap into this source of beauty through my music. Once again, my vocabulary cannot even describe what it's really like to pick up my guitar and play sometimes, not all the time, but many times, and it feels like the most advanced part of my being is my music.
That is.
And it's without words. It's
Yep.
just with the fingertips. So so that's just fabulous, and I'm a teacher, so I'm able to actually teach people the same thing, and I'm really blessed with that. But I also, like I say, have to catch the resistance behavior. There's a part of me that feels like, well, yeah, I'm a musician, and like people are going to like me more, so I have to at least put that out there. Nobody's left. Why?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
We have a coffee break after you, so they can speak out.
Okay, so this is what we're going to do. I put what's ongoing is my son, my family drama, my fear of finances. You know, money comes, money goes. I've been a musician for 39 years, and I think by now I should have the big shiny house, and not have to worry about money. And it's a big long story of where I should be by now. And the fact is, I'm right here sitting in this chair, talking about it. It feels like to me like there's no end. Doesn't matter how much I learn, what I try, I'm still going to end up back here suffering through my experiences. And when I look back in retrospect, there's so much lie to that statement, because it's just my head telling me this, but I've never missed a meal. I've always had a job. I've always progressed in life. I just always have. But the head does not act like it knows that information. And I'm looking forward to, like when I shared last week, well, when am I going to get it that it's going to be okay? Try to get my head to go over that, or to get that. Another one of my ongoing things is, somebody mentioned food, sugar. I'm maybe 6 or 8 pounds overweight, so I'm not way overweight, but I watch how I reach for the sugar, and how when I get the sugar in me, how it's almost like taking a drink. I just go for more, and then I'll have another one, and then some milk. I put out the glitch with coffee. I'm able to only have 1 cup these days, which is kind of nice. Sugar, I still drink milk like I'm a little kid. I just have these little comfort things that I do, because it doesn't matter what I do, it's not going to get better.
Yep.
That's my feeling. It's desperate, like, okay, God, I totally believe in God. I do all this stuff, meditate and all this beautiful stuff, and I struggle miserably with life on my stands. So I should have it down by now, and I don't, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But I'm looking forward to.
Cling to it.
I'm looking forward to being able to put it out there, because I see and have seen for a lot of years some of my issues, and I guess I confuse that with because I can see it, it's supposed to go away now. That's what I keep hearing. At least that's what my mind thinks I hear. As soon as you see it, oh, okay, you don't have to do anything. It just starts to dissolve. Well, that's not been the case for me. I see it, and it intensifies. Not everything intensifies, but some of these, there's only 3 or 4 of them that show up everywhere I go. There they are.
Yep.
So, anyway, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Let's take a 10-minute biology break and get back as quickly as possible. We got a lot to do in the last 45 minutes.